Love songs. It's just going to be silly, goofy love songs. That's it. That's the answer. You can click away. All right, it's a little more than that. Let's go talk. So there's a very factual side to this and a very emotional side to this. So let's start with the facts before we go to the tears. Okay, so there's this theory that world history repeats itself every 80 years or so. And to give credit where credit is due, I learned this from a Van Neistat video. Now, within these 80-year periods, there are these 20-year blocks. And these blocks follow the order of high, awakening, unraveling, and crisis. And I'll put Van's video up to show you what comes with each. But essentially, when something really horrible happens on a global scale, that's how you know you're in a crisis. However, the thing about a crisis period is it acts as a cultural reset. And after this reset, you get this happy-go-lucky, woo, like party kind of art. That's the high block. The best example of this is after World War II. Essentially, we're talking about the time period every boomer refers to when they start a story with, when I was a kid, the Beatles, muscle cars, bikinis, basically peace, love, rock and roll. Now, if our last crisis period was World War II, fast forward 80 years and oh, look at that. We had a pandemic that killed a lot of people and unraveled a ton of mental illness. I would say we are in another crisis period. If you really think of the last 20 years, like the 2008 financial crisis, the 2016 election, the 2020 election, the pandemic, social media, the environment, like things have gotten weird in a not good way. And don't worry, I'm stopping there because I already know that you know the depth of that. That's all to say that the kind of art we've been getting this whole time has been reflective of the mindset that this stuff has put people in. People are writing about being sad, questioning life, relationships, themselves, and are just kind of in this meh, bleh, melancholy, almost apathetic mood from being overwhelmed. And don't get me wrong, we've gotten some beautiful art out of that, some of which I've covered on this channel. But my point in going through the history with you is to say that's about to change. It might not feel like that, but let me ask you this to kind of warm you up to the idea. Why do you think dance music has made a comeback recently? You can have any industry analyst tell you whatever they want, but to me, this is a society question. The answer is that people are actually sick and tired of being in their own head. They're tired of having the internet encouraging them to be painfully self-aware of everything they don't like about themselves and the world. And you know what the musical revolt to that is? It's dance music. It's stuff that's less isolating and more communal. It's stuff that's less about thinking and more about feeling. Stuff that when you're done listening, you say, damn, okay, maybe things are gonna be all right. You can even argue that this happened on a smaller scale after the 2008 housing crisis. With all that party music from the early 2010s, yes, I'm saying Party Rock Anthem was a coping mechanism. Now, if you made it this far, great. Now we're gonna get a little emotional together. But I think we gotta fuel up a little bit because I'm a little hungry. All right, so now that we're here with the BK, I had a terrible pandemic mentally. And you probably did too. And thankfully we're past that phase of post-pandemic where people are like, oh, like how was your COVID? And they try and put like a really positive spin on it. Like, oh yeah, I learned yoga and I learned a lot about myself. And I'm like, okay, like, no, I don't think they're being fake. I know they're trying to make light of something that kind of sucked. But let's just call a spade here. You know, you had a bad time and that's okay. I have run through everything that someone does not need to run through in their mind multiple times over during this pandemic. Like, oh, I should have majored in this instead. I should have stayed in this relationship. I should stop making videos. I should exercise more. I should start going to church again. Am I a good person? What even is a good person? I completely lost my mind to these like what if self-reflective scenarios. In fact, I started to realize that I did that a lot even before the pandemic. But in that way, I think we can say a crisis period acts as a painful internal mirror. When things get rough on the outside, you tend to shut yourself in. That's just how we work. And the art that was created around that definitely served its purpose in letting us know we weren't alone in that experience. It was cathartic. But if the specific crisis of a pandemic where you have to stay inside by yourself has taught us anything, it's that the way out of this mirror room in your head isn't through thinking or even meditating your way out of it. Eventually, you just have to get up and dust yourself off. You have to be like, I do have agency over the quality of my life. And it's up to me to make choices that feel like they lead in a helpful direction. And those choices, mental or physical, are completely doable. Even if every bone in your body is telling you the opposite, even if you're scared, even if it feels safer to be sad, anxious, or whatever you are, you have to believe it's completely doable, because it is. Listen, I've almost completely given up listening to sad indie music. And if you knew me 6 years ago, it was my entire personality. And now it's almost the last thing I put on. And why? Because I'm done. I'm done mulling over everything. I'm done being melancholy and moody. I'm done pining, and you probably are too. All right, it's really windy. I got the runny nose, but we're still going to finish this, all right? I'm 24 and I still live in the same town I grew up in. All that sad music I used to listen to, it's everywhere I look. It lives in buildings and lampposts and hiking trails. And in a way, I don't mind it and still appreciate it for what it got me through. But for the first time in forever, I'm starting to drive around and feel a different type of way about the place I grew up. Embracing and actually loving the little things that make it what it is. And it's crazier how much better life is that way. I used to think having that mentality, what some people might call live, laugh, love energy, energy was corny. And then I realized that maybe those people were right all along and they were ahead of the curve. They're just happy. Happiness is a choice right in front of you. It's not buying a flip phone and getting a job on an Alaskan fishing boat. And some of your favorite artists are about to make that choice because they came to the same conclusion that I just did. You're about to see a period of love, a period of feeling, a period of embracing cringe, loosening your grip on self-awareness and just living life. Love songs, party songs, and everything in between. Do I have any hard evidence for you backed up by hours of trend researching and crisis music listening? No, I don't. All I can tell you is that I've seen friends, family, and artists all start to walk this way. And if you have a beating heart in you, I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.